Hi, I'm Larry Carver. I'm your instructor for this class. The last time you saw me I had on a Star Trek shirt. I'm really not a member of the Star Trek crew, but what I am is retired. And for that reason, I have to do little lectures like this in my garage. So the classroom has become a garage for me. And I want to talk a little bit about the lesson, or the chapter that we're going to read in this week's lesson on technology transfer. This is an interesting chapter, and it may be one that you may not take real serious. It's chapter 7 in the book. Technology transfer deals with how is technology transferred from one group of people to another, or how is it transferred from one country to another. Now we know from economics that the more technology that a country has, the higher their productivity or their output. And the constant growth of technology is crucial for a country in terms of their gross domestic product. But what are we really talking about? Now, I don't know if any of you have taken marketing before, but in marketing there are the 4 P's. And those 4 P's are price, how much does an item cost, promotion, which is usually what people think of marketing. Advertising is promotion. But marketing has 4 elements in its mix: price, promotion, product, the product itself, how good is it, how valuable is it, and place. Where the product is and how the product gets from where it is to the final consumer. What we're looking at in chapter 7 is place. How does technology move from one country to another, or from a business to another? Now it talks in there about going to conferences, and if you're involved in education or a lot of professions, there are a whole multitude of conferences where businesses show up and they show their wares, so to speak. I tend to like to go to these because it keeps me on the cutting edge of what's new. One of the problems that we have, though, is that sometimes countries steal a product rather than buying it. And this has always been a problem that we've had with the Pacific Rim countries, primarily with China. When I was an undergrad, I studied philosophy, and my second major, I had a double major, was Chinese area studies. And I have taken several years of Chinese. Now that was back in the late 60s. I don't speak it anymore, but I still am interested in how the characters were developed. Before we went to Hong Kong and studied for a semester, our instructors said, don't buy Matthew's Chinese-English dictionary in this country, because you can buy it much cheaper if you go to China, or in where I bought this was in Taiwan. I paid the equivalent of just a couple dollars for this book. Had I bought it in this country, it would have been considerably more expensive, somewhere in the neighborhood of $25 to $50. Now, the reason they were able to sell it so cheap is they ignore the copyright. They just go ahead and print it and sell it. And that's unfair to the company who actually owns the copyright. In this case, it was Harvard University Press. Frankly, I didn't feel real bad for Harvard, since they've got one of the largest endowments of all the universities in this country. But that's one of the problems with technology. When you try to move it to another place, you want to make sure that you recapture your costs. And so, this book talks about that, some of the issues associated with that. So as you read through this lesson, through this chapter, focus on how is new technology transmitted from our place to someone else's place, not to another country, but how do we get this technology to someone who may need to use it in this country? Okay? We'll see you later.